So this video, we're going to be speaking about how to research and how it can increase contact rates, meeting book, and closing deals. This is so important if you want to succeed when it comes to business development, but just in general, when it even comes to moving into maybe sales role or consultant role, you need to understand how to do your research. So this video will be very vital for those. And it's just an important topic in general. So with that in mind, what we will learn in this video is what we mean by research, why it's important for the business development process, how to go about it, so understand your target audience from a research perspective, how to find low-hanging fruit, discovering areas that will keep you in the know, setting up alerts, scraping, organizing your data so you know how to make life easy when it comes to the outreach part, and then key takeaways. This might be a two-part because there's also research when it comes to crafting emails, and I think that can be kind of grouped together because I want to share with you some frameworks that might work and help you along your way. So what we mean by research is, well, the definition I Googled was the systematic investigation into and study of materials and sources in order to establish facts and reach new conclusions. So I'm always a fan of just looking at what the official definition means. From a growth advisor standpoint, what that means is finding prospects that will be interested in what you have to offer, finding contact details and sources of information that will allow you to reach out in an effective way. So we're not just talking about contact data and finding their email and phone number. That is one thing, but it's also just understanding your prospects, your industry, and doing that research so that you can have a deeper level of understanding to your audience. And also it will help you when it comes to finding what are the relevant mediums by which you approach someone. It might be also Twitter, right? So it's just something to bear in mind, and it's just about how clever and how much initiative you can take. So this is all down to you. Why it's important to research. So one, it's going to help you find more people that are likely to say, hey, yes. So good research is not just finding a vast amount of data, it's finding the right type of data. So it's the right types of people, the people who are going to be in need of what you are selling or what your service or offering is. Convert more prospects into booked meetings. So by nature, if you're reaching out to people who you're adding more value to or more likely to add value to, the more people you're going to get coming back saying yes, if you again reach out in the right way. More meetings turning into newly acquired clients. Again, if you are doing that from the jump, it's meaning that you're booking in more meetings, but also more qualified meetings that are inevitably going to close into more deals, right? If you book in a meeting but they're not qualified, the most important thing is that it gives you a deeper understanding of your market, which in turn allows you to have better conversations and position your offering in a value-driven way. So by understanding your audience, or by doing this research, you're just naturally going to gather information about the industry, and that will position you as more of an expert than if you don't. So when I used to do door to door, I used to knock on a load of doors, and one of the things my manager would say is, you don't know any of the information. You'd make ton more sales if you actually knew the information. And it's so true. Looking back, if I knew all of the channels and I was able to understand what shows were on them, when I'm speaking to someone, I'll be able to explain to them what was going to be most of interest to them. So he was Asian, and he was like, yeah, when you're speaking to the Asian families, there's a lot of Asian channels and they love those channels, and you can name drop these shows. And that, of course, helped out hugely when I would go in front, because it bridges the gap, right? And that's what you can do with the right research, is bridge that gap of knowledge, and also provide some like for like when people like people who are similar to them. So if you know what they know, it's always good. So how to research like a boss. I've named it boss for a reason, because if you come into a role, a lot of the time what you are is you're an employee that you think, okay, this is what I've been given, or especially junior level. And the difference between junior level or just someone that's going to be of most value to anyone is you're there taking initiative and taking action. So you're there looking to solve problems, and you might not even be asked to solve the problem, but you're there to solve it. And that's the difference. That's what's going to get you to where you want to be. So with that mindset, I think that that's also best to go on, which is, look, you can be given a list. You can just do the base level of requirement and just just do a job level search, industry, region, done. You're done. You're done. You can go out, call all of them, see how you do. But we want to take it to the next level, we want to be the ones that go over and beyond. So level 2 is the persona. So it's not only understanding, the job title, the industry, the region they may be in, but it's also what hobbies, interests do they have? Are they married? Are they single? How old are they? What's their age bracket from? And then understanding their key motivations and desires in their role, what they want to know to do, what they want to know, why they would buy from you, what are their key pain points, what they don't want, and influences or influencers and source of information. Where do they spend their time? Who do they watch? Who do they listen to? And what information do they gather? What websites do they go on? What articles do they read? What blogs or Twitter handles are they on? All of that is going to be very important for you, because then that's going to allow you to understand where they spend their time and also allow you to get that data of where they are. So we're going to show you how to do that. So another area that will help you research like a boss is identifying triggers. So triggers are points at which there may be it's an indication that this person may have need for or requirement for your service. So an example of that is we build our SDR teams. For us, someone hiring an SDR or hiring an SDR director is very likely that they could be in need of our service, because they are looking to generate meetings, they have a budget allocated, right? The same for any business that you're working with. It may be a funding round that might be of interest because they provide a certain type of product that's best suited to companies who have just received a huge amount of funding. Or companies who have received funding usually get given great big targets that they need to hit. So they need to be aggressive and they need to hit goals. So that might be something that is really in tune with what you are promoting or what you're offering and selling. So you might be able to help them on that journey. Role change, a lot of role change, people who change jobs, especially at the senior level, they've been hired to change things around. They've been brought in for their experience in their IP, and they are there to make change. So they're bringing in resources and departments and looking at ways to improve what is the status quo. Growth of company. So the company is growing, it's experiencing change, it's hiring a whole bunch of people. What could go wrong? Well, there's a lot of things that can go wrong as you amass growth. Systems start to break. Things that worked at one level don't work at another level. So that might be an opportunity for your product to come in and help them alleviate some of that stress and strain. The tech used. So again, if you're using something that is, you might be, example, you're selling to cybersecurity to Microsoft users. That's a tech used, right? You're a Microsoft user. That could be a trigger, right? So all of these are things that you can use, and you could double up and use a couple of these. So companies who have received funding that are hiring for SDRs, for example, is going to be, spot on, because most instances they might not have the sales director there already, so it's not like they're adding to the team, they're creating a new team, and that's where we can come in. So hopefully that gives you an idea. Again, when you understand your market and your prospect, you will understand where there may be other triggers underlying these. Like there may be others that I haven't mentioned today, and it's your job to understand your market in such depth that you are able to assimilate this information on your own. But what you're doing here is just understanding the core details of it. Next, how to research like a boss is free. Discover areas that will keep you up to date. So you want to make your life easy. You want to drink your cup of coffee in the morning, and you want to be able to skim through news websites. You don't want to have to go to loads of websites and rediscover these websites. You want to already have this information and have newsletters sending information to your inbox so that you've got something to do for 10 to 15 minutes. The reason why this is important is because they will break news stories there first before any premium platinum provider of data will come in and try and deliver that information. They have to still scrape the data, find that information, do the next deed and all of that. But you are there looking at this information, you're taking in that article. That article may share with you how a company is growing, how a company is hiring, how a company is looking for resources. Whatever the news may be, it gives you a platform to jump. It gives you a jumping board, to a springboard to then go out, craft a message, say, hey, I saw that you are doing this, da, 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 da. And that shows that you've paid attention, that you're keeping your eye on the ball. And that can even be leveraged when you're talking to clients on the phone. Oh, yeah, I heard this was happening in the industry. So I thought I'd reach out because of this. So it shows that you're aware and you're privy to what's going on. You're a mover and shaker. They should value your input because you understand what's going on in the world. And the more you do that, if you're doing that 10 minutes a day, compounding, I heard the other day it's 20 hours that it takes to become exceptionally proficient at something. 20 hours. So imagine 10 minutes a day, you're just chipping away at becoming more proficient in that industry sector, which means that you're just going to naturally be able to deliver better information to the person you're going out to. Very important. There's no shortcut here. You have to do your research. Exhibitions and conferences. So exhibitions and conferences, this is where you get all of the people paying money to be in one location at the same time. Now there's two ways that an exhibition can be set up. You might be interested in the attendees, you might be interested in the exhibitors. The exhibitors are much easier. So if you are, let's say, going out to an event technology event, and they sell all this technology for the event sector, it would be, if you're interested in the software companies that are selling tech, then it's easy because there's going to be an exhibitor list on the exhibition. So you just need to type in exhibition, technology, and conferences, and just go on Google and see which ones you can find. Go to the exhibitor list, and there should be a nice list for you to grab hold of and start targeting. On the other side, you've got the attendees to an exhibition, and that's a bit more difficult to get in front of because the attendees don't necessarily, they won't necessarily go to, there won't be a list for them in most instances, 99% of the role. But what there will be is there will be Facebook groups where they will join. I'm saying this because I actually did this search recently. Where was it? Event technology help. So this group is for event profs, so professionals looking for help with technology. So we found 969 members who are looking for help with technology. How great is that? And that can be done across the board. So depending on whether you need to see delegates or whether you need the exhibitors of the exhibition, that's how you'd go about it. Typically, if you can't get information from groups, the next best output would be either connecting with the director and then, or the event director or the event marketer, and seeing if, and cross-referencing their connections with the type of audience you want to get out to. So that's one way of doing it. And apart from that, it's just keeping on top of their feeds. So another clever way I would do it would be to go on Facebook ads library, and because you get all of access to all of the ads they're running, and then check out who's liking the ad, and then you'd probably get some more people from there. So I'm making it difficult for myself in terms of just explaining the most complicated process you could go across to find this kind of information. Next is associations. So associations are groups of, or is like a board, and it's a body, let's say, and their aim is to provide value to their audience. So their audience might consist of members that you may be interested in getting in front of. So they will have a members list. So that members list, you can reach out to, the association, see if there's ways you can provide value to that audience and get information from them about the audience. You've got influencers. So these are people who already have amassed a following and they have the attention of your prospect, the one you want to go out to. So they'll be posting on Twitter, they'll be posting on LinkedIn, and all of their comments, all the comments in their on their post will be from your target audience. So you'll be able to again use that as a springboard to start a conversation, and also identify people who will be of interest going out to. Again, you can use Sales Navigator to highlight that person and cross-reference the people that they're connected with and see if there's a way for you to reach out to them. Competitors, again, same approach. You're going on LinkedIn, seeing if they've created a group, seeing who their members of staff are connected to. You've got on a lot of people's profiles, if we go for this person, for example, people you may know in a lot of cases. So who can I take as an, okay, look, I'll take this guy. So I used to work with this guy. You'll see it will it will tell you all the people that also viewed him as well as others. So you might see that if it's a competitor, they might share with you information on, because there's sometimes it will show you who is also researching their page or who they're looking at. So that's also something you can do. Moving on, we've got directories and review sites. So Clutch, Trustpilot, all of these places you can find information. So an example of that is like trying to find Java agencies is very difficult on Cognism, even if you type in Java, or on LinkedIn Java as a keyword, because they might not just consider themselves a Java agency, because you wouldn't necessarily communicate to the world that you're a Java agency. You'd say you're a UI UX agency. So, but then the UI UX agency, they might use not Java. So what you can do is use directories, type in top 100 Java agencies, and Clutch will come up with a list of Java related agencies for you. And then you can scrape that list and go from there. LinkedIn has a whole variety of ways you can use to get information, and that's for a separate video all entirely, where you can use LinkedIn for Sales Navigator. You can use it to keep up and press the notification button whenever influencers post, so you're kept up to date, and you can be someone that also interacts with the post or sees who interacts and follows and kind of follows their journey. Tons of ways that you can do this research. Here's just a few. I'm sure you'll find your own. Next is for how to set up alerts. So one of the things that is not known to a lot of people is Bombora company surges free weekly intent alerts. So you can discover the keyword, or you can think about the keywords that your target audience are putting in as to what would deem them having intent into your product, and then boom, and you can search, you can set location, all that great stuff, and company size, and Bombora will send you free 10, 20 leads per week just straight to your inbox. So great thing. I would heavily recommend that you prioritize that, because there's going to be some gems in there. Slack, feeder.co.uk, aggregate news. Essentially, once you've found all of those news article places, what you can do is use something like feeder.co, free resource. You can add 200 news resources to it, and you can just see all the posts for the day and just browse through them and see if there's anything that catches your eye. Read the headlines, skim the headlines, see what's happening in the space, and use that information to then mold your outreach. Again, you'll find gems here. You just need to do that in the morning coffee, read some news, find some key information, make it easy for yourself. You can use Feeder. It also connects to Twitter. So you could just have all this is just like social listening. You're just looking for stuff. And I think with their premium subscription, you can then start defining keywords as to what is most useful for you. So if someone, gets funding, then we want that to be pushed to the front. So make life easy for yourself, and naturally just read through some of the articles as well, because you'll just start to learn about the industry much more. Now, once you've done that and you found, let's say we do an example. So here's Bombora's try company surgeon sample, the best B2B. What I want to show you is just how to quickly scrape, because that's important. If you're using Cognism, this is how I would do it. So let's say I wanted to grab a list and I was like, yeah, do you know what I need? I need SEO companies, and that's kind of who I'm going out to. Or let's say we've got event planners, so that might be good for one of our clients. So we've got this list, brilliant list. What we need to do is we need to grab this information. So an easy way to do that is literally a simple scraper add-on. I might not have credits left, but you get about 100 or something. Maybe, no, you get more. I did a 600 list yesterday. And then you just click plus, name. Then I can just select an element, and then I can go done. And I've got the name. I might want to get what their bit they have, that quote. So I might say quote, and I might use that as the line. Oops, because I didn't add anything. I might use that as the opener. So this company had this to say about you. Once you've done that, and you've got any information that you want. You might want their website as well. You can then click on this next page element, and then it's going to load up. But what you're interested in is kind of job done now. So review results. You're happy with everything. You can then, you want to save recipe, and the reason why you want to do this is because you want it to purge more than, I mean, scrape more than just one page. So you'll name it whatever, event planner, and then you can put 10 pages, create recipe, and then it's gonna, so then you can click on it, you can run it, and yeah, I'm out of credits. But if I was in credits, it would run, grab all of them, create a document, and then I could move on to the next stage. The next stage would be going to Cognizant. So one of the things is that you're going to need to get the company's website, and then you can from there go to the company name, import the CSV, like we'll do the company domain. The reason why you want to do the company domain is because names aren't always unique and domains are. So you can use the domain and create a list of targeted people, hyper targeted people on Crunchbase, or I mean on Cognism or whatever data provider you use, and then filter that by the types of job titles that you are interested in getting in front of. So ChatGPT is also good for formulas. So if I were to download that list, I could then use ChatGPT just to tidy it up a bit. So this might be asking it, what is the formula to remove the end part of the, the .com, because you just want this, for example. So yeah, play around with that if you do get stuck. Lastly is organizing your data. So you scraped your data, you've uploaded it. You may have people from different time zones. You're doing this on a daily basis. It's going to get confusing after a while if you don't stay organized. So the best way to do this is understand one, separate time zones. So split the list based on Europe, America, wherever else, because then you know when you can switch on a list, when you can switch off a list based on the time zones. There are tools that will, even in our reply system, that will outreach system where you can segment by the time zone. But I still believe that it's best to separate the sequences by time zones, because then you know what's going out. You want to prioritize certain lists. You don't want to have too many lists going at once. You also want to tag the entries in based on where they came from, so if you understand the context. So let's say you're looking back at data after a few months have gone by, the tag should be able to tell you, okay, it came from me searching this exhibition, or it came from this news source, or it came from LinkedIn search, or it came from a general Cognism search, or it came from a job join intent based list that I did on this day. Whatever you feel will help you just look at and be able to understand. Okay, I get it. Split it into different messaging buckets. So um, help yourself with the types of audiences you're going out to. So if you're going out to, you did a huge search on people who are hiring for SDRs, that's going to be a different pain point to people who have just received funding, um, potentially, right? You might be at the initial stage of testing these ideas out, and what this splitting into different buckets does is allows you to work through that sequence or a couple sequences, and then do a recon on, is it working, why isn't it working, if it is working, what's working best, and doubling down on that. And that will allow you to do so if you are splitting your messaging out into different buckets, because not only does it allow you to be more unique with the message you're sending out, it also allows you to look back at the data as to, why was I reaching out, what was the context. And then last is phone and email versus email only. So you've got these sequences that might include an email touch point, a phone touch point, a LinkedIn touch point. If you don't have their phone number in the data and you can't source it, what's the point of having that phone touch point? It's just a wasted step. So have it as just an email cadence. Don't have it as an email and phone cadence. Again, there's a very easy way to sort this. You can ask ChatGPT on a formula on how to sort data by if it's got a phone and email, or if it's only got email. We've got a video on that which I'll share. But with that said, just to recap on everything. First is researching, what is it, It's going to be helping you to understand the industry better, leading to better conversations, improved outreach, and deeper conversations that lead to quality output. Quality in equals quality out. Start with your understanding of your target audience, your job role, industry, region, but also where they spend their time. Get into their mindset. This is crucial because it will allow you to then find things out that you wouldn't typically find and think differently. Third, identify any triggers that may lead to them needing your service or product more. So find something that shows you some form of intent and use that as the springboard to reach out to them with. Find any place that will give you updates on the industry news and list of companies to go out to. So these can be news feeds, these can be Twitter, these can be LinkedIn groups, these can be um, news aggregators, depending on the industry you're in. This can be the FTSE, this can be everything. And five is set up alerts. Make life easy. You don't have to go to 10 websites, use the RSS feed, and then you can just plug in all the websites that you find into this one feed, and then that's your morning reading. Scrape information and get the useful information out. So we've used Easy Scraper. There's a number of tools on the market. Octopath is another useful one. Again, we're not using this time to create a whole scraping tutorial. That's another video. But hopefully the base use of Easy Scraper, where I showed you a few steps, will give you more than enough for you to save a whole bunch of time grabbing information off of websites without overcomplicating the whole ordeal. So that's enough to get you off the ground and running. Um, Last is organize your data to make life easier and to better understand what's working and what isn't. So grouping your data into different buckets based on time zones, based on job titles or seniority, whether they're a champion or they're a decision maker or they're an economic buyer, so they're holding the purse strings rather than making the decision. So you have to change the way you're reaching out to them. Using this to then review and recap on the messaging sequence that's gone out and identifying, doing some recon on and asking yourself the question, what worked? Why did it work? Why didn't it work? What was it about it that didn't work? So that way you won't make that second mistake twice, or you learn from it and then you'll make life easier going forward. So with that said, I hope you've enjoyed the session. I hope you've learned a lot and you've found some things that you can use moving forward to help you on your journey to researching like a boss. So with that said, I look forward to hearing back from you. Any feedback with you, much appreciated.